Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is your...
Oh, brother, you must think I'm stupid.
Photo News Fix. This fix is brought to you by Wirestock, which is still the easiest way to sell your photos, videos, and vectors online. Now here's how it works. Once again, you upload your photos or videos to Wirestock. They tag and keyword them for you and distribute them for sale on the largest stock websites like Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, 123RF, Pond5, and many more. You can do all this from one single free account, no subscription fees or flat fees. When you sell something, Wirestock takes 15% and you get the rest. You can be making money from simple random clips that you already have, or go shoot clouds in the sky, or raindrops falling, and maybe puddles, anything. To sign up for free right now, head on over to bit.ly/wirefro12. First up, goodbye Drobo. Now, I'm sure a bunch of you who got into photography 5 or less years ago are saying to yourself,
what the is that?
Well, that's a mighty fine question. In the mid-aughts, aka 2005, well, how else am I supposed to say the early 2000s? I guess I could just say the early 2000s.
Duh.
Anyway, in 2005, Drobo was founded in San Jose, and they created data storage devices that employed something they created called Beyond RAID, because there was RAID, and they went beyond it.
Almost beyond belief.
At the time, they made it super simple and easy for non-IT savvy people like myself to have a sense of security for my digital files. Now, I had 2 5-bay Drobos running Beyond RAID, which meant if up to 2 drives failed at the same time, my data would still be safe. At least that's what they said. You would simply pop out a failed drive, put in a new one, and the Drobo would rebuild the backup
Plan to the backup plan.
and all your data would be secure once again.
Now you know what to do.
Now, for the time, the Drobo was a solid solution, and I thankfully never had any major issues with mine, but others did and lost all their data. After changing hands a few times over the last bunch of years, Drobo has filed for Chapter 11 protection. In my opinion, this is the end of the road for Drobo. But now would be a good time to remind you all about the importance of not just backing up your files, but having multiple backups and a backup plan for your data.
Back up my backup plan.
Having one external hard drive with your data is not a backup. That's one copy. Actually, it's not even a copy, it's just one. These days, there's a bunch of reliable solutions from companies like Synology, G-Tech, Western Digital, and so many more, not to mention you can store stuff in the cloud. So how do you back up? Like this, Jared. Like this. Beep, 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 beep. Next up, how much storage does the $10 billion James Webb Telescope have on board to store all of the data that it captures? 68.
Yes, I thought it over quite thoroughly.
The telescope has a 68 gigabyte SSD on board, and that's it. That's basically a few more gigs than Photo News Fix, which generally comes in around 45 to 55 gigs depending on length. But the big question is 68 gigs actually enough? Well, according to IEEE system reports, the Webb can generate up to 57 gigs of data each day, compared to Hubble's 1 to 2 gigs a day. Of the 68 gigs of storage, 3% is saved for engineering and telemetry data. Depending on what the Webb is capturing on that particular day, the drive will fill in about 24 hours. Being that the telescope is a million miles away from Earth, it's not always in constant contact to transmit data, thus why it needs to have onboard storage. But twice during the day, there's a 4-hour transmission window where they can offload data back to Earth at speeds up to 28 megabits per second, which works out to roughly 12.6 gigs per hour. Now, I'd love to tell you all about the Ka band at 25.9 gigahertz, but I'll save that for Neil deGrasse Tyson.
We might have 100 years on Earth at the rate we're going.
Since the Webb is subject to extreme temperatures, and I mean extreme, like negative 370 degrees Fahrenheit, along with radiation, it's expected to lose roughly 8 gigs of storage after a decade.
10 years.
And at this point, NASA thinks they can extend the Webb's life to around 20 years. Now, what's going to happen as it loses more storage capacity?
It says my storage is full.
I guess they'll cross that cosmic bridge when they get to it.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Oh yeah, since we're talking about the Webb Telescope, did you see how much better the images looked when you slapped some Skittles on it?
How dare you?
Yep, they look much better with Skittles. And finally, there was this stupid report put out by the Nikkei that says Nikon will stop making DSLR cameras and withdraw from the SLR camera development after 60 years of history. No shit.
Please explain.
No shit, they're gonna stop making DSLRs at some point. So will Canon. But after this news broke, Nikon put out their own statement saying, and I quote, "There was a media article regarding Nikon's withdrawal of SLR development. This media article is only speculation, and Nikon has made no announcement in this regards. Nikon is continuing the production, sales, and service of digital SLR. Nikon appreciates your continuous support." What Nikon didn't include in that statement is future development of DSLRs.
I wonder why.
Oh, no, you don't.
But there's no reason for them to stop producing, selling, and supporting their products if they continue to make money. Just because they're rightfully shifting their focus to mirrorless, that doesn't mean they will stop supporting DSLRs for years to come. But yes, at some point, they will finally kill off DSLRs for good. Now, as a reminder, you need to do more than just read headlines. Actually read articles and find original sources.
He makes them question authority.
There you have it. That's your photo news fix this time around. To check out last week's fix, go ahead and click on the screen right here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And that's where I'm gonna leave it. Jared, Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.